Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 ASHA International Celebration of Hope. I hope you guys are able to see us and hear us. Let us know if you are not able to. But my name is Genevieve Rayom. I am on the board of ASHA International. I'm also a reporter for K2 News here in Portland, and I am beyond delighted to be your MC again for this Celebration of Hope. I want to thank you all for being here. I know many of you have probably been on Zoom calls and in Zoom meetings all day long. So to start yet another Zoom, I know it takes a lot of effort. So I appreciate your intentional being here, your intention in being here, and we appreciate you. And we have a pretty short program for you. So I really hope that you stay with us today. We all really wish that we could be celebrating this celebration of hope in person, but because we cannot, we are doing it virtually. We want you to know that your health and safety is our top priority. But one of the unique things is during a global pandemic, one of the greatest challenges that transcends physical and cultural boundaries is mental health. ASHA International's efforts are truly needed now more than they've ever been. And our work has continued throughout this pandemic despite many challenges. Tonight, we will be showcasing the work that ASHA International is doing, so you'll get a little bit of an update. And you will get to hear from two of our storytellers, Brian Lee and Audrey Steele. We'll also celebrate some of the incredible people in our community doing groundbreaking and moving work when it comes to mental health. We have 3 awards to give. We have the Hope Bringer, the Mental Health Hero, and the Champion of Change awards. We hope that the stories you hear from these recipients and from our storytellers inspire you to donate, to allow ASHA to continue to do the life-serving work that we do. Because we are virtual, this is one of the benefits. You can donate at any time. You've got the internet right at your fingertips. So there's a few different ways that you can do this. You can donate online if you just go to myasha.org/give. You can also make a pledge through the chat box. And if you are going to pledge, then we want you to contact Ashley Schmidt. So her number's on the screen and her email. So you can text or call her or send her an email with the amount that you are pledging to give. And if you're going to send a check, we also ask that you contact Ashley and let her know that. We just sent the link to donate in the chat box. So if you want to donate online, if you want to do that now, get that out of the way. Pop into that chat box and it will send you directly to myasha.org/give to allow you to submit your donation now. I want to thank everyone who has already donated tonight. We were just talking a few hours ago through email with the other organizers of this event, and we have already surpassed about, I think, $30,000 or so, our $40,000 goal. And I can tell you that the founder of ASHA International, Gayatri, was thrilled. It really fills our cup up to know that there are so many of you out there who are so supportive of the work that we are doing. So we want to send our sincerest thanks to all of you who've already donated. And if you haven't, hop online and do that now and help us reach our goal of $40,000. We also know that many of your employers, perhaps you maybe work for somewhere like Nike, they often offer a match. So if you work for a company that will match your donation to a charitable organization like ASHA, we are asking you to instead make a pledge. So don't give quite yet, but instead give through your employee portal when you're supposed to do that. So what we're asking you to do is, if you make that pledge, let us know through the chat box, or again, you can call or text Ashley Schmidt at 503-267-0146, just so we get an idea of how much we were able to raise tonight. We want to make sure that tonight, at the end of the night, we have a good idea and we can see if we are going to surpass our $40,000 goal. But again, if your employer tends to match gifts, then wait to do it through your employee portal so we can get the biggest bang for your buck. Again, I'll repeat this. If you do want to send in a check, also please let Ashley know how much you plan to donate so we have all the information we need. If you do plan to let us know through the chat box, I know many of us have been on Zoom for 1.5 years at this point, so you probably know all the ins and outs of Zoom, but even as we were setting up for this event tonight, there were several of us who are learning new things about Zoom. So if you're not super familiar with Zoom or the chat function, one thing we do want to let you know is when you click chat, you can either send a message to everyone or to just the host and the panelists. So if you want to send a sentiment or maybe a reasoning as to why you give, and you want that to go to everyone, select the everyone in the drop down menu. If you want to send a private message, either about a donation or maybe you're having some technical problems, feel free to go through that chat box. Just make sure you press the host and panelist option there. Now I have the pleasure of introducing one of our storytellers, Brian Lee. He is a 19-year-old college student, and like so many of our storytellers, he grew up in a culture that emphasized achievements above all else. His depression led to panic attacks, but he was finally able to talk about it with his family. And that's when things started to change. And he now shares his story in hopes that it helps other people who may be enduring the exact same thing he is. So we're really excited for you to hear from Brian here shortly. I do want to let you know right after you hear from Brian, you will hear from Kathy Gomez. She will give an ASHA International Organization update. She is also a board member, and she also happens to be the VP of Footwear Innovation at Nike. So you'll get to hear from from Kathy shortly. But before then, I'd like you all to meet Brian.
Hi, my name is Brian Lee. I'm 19. I'm a sophomore in college, studying to become a physician. And today I wanted to talk about something that I've really never talked about before, which is my story with mental health. I grew up in a very traditional Asian household, and growing up, there were a handful of subjects that I knew never to talk about. Academic failure being one of them, but especially mental health was something that was never talked about within my family. My family is from Vietnam, and looking back, I realized that I had put a lot of pressure on myself because of my parents. I grew up with the belief that just me being born here, I had taken something away from them, something intangible that I could never put my finger on. And I don't know why I've always felt this way because it was never like communicated to me. I just have always felt this drive to somehow justify my parents' sacrifice. And I think it was because growing up, I saw my parents working really hard to put food on the table for me and my little sister. They would go to work, and when they weren't at work, they would be at community college learning English. And even then, they still found the time to, spend time with me and my little sister and ask us about our days at school. Growing up, I also could feel that there was something wrong with me. I would get these periods of intense sadness that you would probably call depression, but I didn't have words for at the time. Mental health just wasn't a thing that I was ever aware of growing up. I still remember telling my dad once when I was little that I was feeling sad and that I wanted it to stop. And his response was essentially just get over it. It's not real. And to our detriment, I'm sure a lot of Asian American kids growing up have heard the same thing. But that's not to say that I blame my parents because, as immigrants, they live shoulder to shoulder with poverty and near starvation. Their experiences were reinforced by a culture that regarded mental illness as a weakness of character. It was a shame borne not only by the individual, but by the entire family. And my family and many others like mine have learned just to endure in silence and just hope never to speak of it. And this is what I did in high school. I became the poster child for the high functioning depressive, as the terminology goes. I maintained good grades. I was on the school swim team. I was involved in student organization, was a leader of the Asian American Student Association at one point. And this made me a role model for some of the younger students in the Asian American community. I was even asked for lifestyle tips on how to succeed in school. Aunts and uncles would tell me that they were proud of me at family gatherings and would tell my younger cousins to be more like me. But from the outside, no one could tell that I had been battling depression for all those years because I had hidden it well. Until one day it became just too painful to hide. Because despite having succeeded, at least in terms of how our society and my culture especially believes a 16-year-old high school student should succeed, nothing had changed for me internally. There were still times where I felt extreme sadness. I started getting panic attacks for the first time in my life. And it was like I would walk into a room full of my classmates and the air was just taken out of my lungs. It started happening more frequently, and I had no idea what I was doing wrong. I started to lose confidence in myself. I remember feeling like I didn't have control over my body or my emotions. And when my panic attacks were at their worst, I just couldn't leave the house. Just the thought of leaving the house and going to school put me in such a state of panic that I just had to stay put. Sometimes for 2 weeks on end, I was just miserable. And I remember one day I got out the door and I got to the end of my road, just around the corner, and I ran back inside. I remember feeling powerless to help myself for so long. And I think somewhere along the way, I gave up and I made a drastic decision. I came home, locked the door to the bathroom, and I wrote a suicide letter planning on taking my own life then and there. And as I began removing one of the blades off of my dad's shaving razor, my mom came by and knocked on the door. She asked me if I was okay. I was panicked and I told her I was fine. She left and I dropped the razor and I lay there on my back staring up at the ceiling. It was only then that I realized something, and I had known this before, but here's when it really sank in. My death wasn't just about me. I began imagining how this would affect my family, my little sister who would be coming home in a few hours from school. It would completely destroy the lives of those I cared most about. And I imagined my mom suffering until her dying day, blaming herself. And luckily, after that, I didn't do anything. Not a day goes by where I'm not grateful that things turned out the way they did. I still reread that suicide note that I wrote as a reminder to be thankful because I gave myself a second chance, and not everyone does. It's also a powerful reminder for me to live this second chance and to do it right. So, this past June, I celebrated 2 years of being panic attack free. I've been at college. I've decided I would study to become a physician. I'm a research assistant in a lab on campus that studies the brain. And in the future, through understanding, I hope we can improve the way in which our society views and approaches mental illness. Although my studies have been tough, I've been careful to heed the lessons I've learned in the past. Whereas once I was isolating myself to achieve good grades and to make my parents proud, now I know to never lose sight of my friends and forgo my social support network, even when the work piles up. As a result, college has been a wonderful journey and a much needed fresh start. Already, I've met some people and mentors I know I'll remember for the rest of my life. And we have each other's backs, which means a lot because good friends can be hard to come by. I once believed that success was a precursor to happiness. I know now that it was actually the other way around, that happiness is a precursor to success. It may be a small rearrangement of words, but for me, this has made all the difference. I want my story to be an example of why there is a striking need to consider cultural factors when discussing mental illness. To deny culture has a role to play in mental illness is to effectively deny the concept of mental illness altogether, since mental illness itself is defined as patterns of behavior that deviate from cultural expectations. I would also like to encourage you, anyone who is fighting their own battle with mental illness, to never stop reminding yourself that in times of difficulty, in times of sorrow, that you have gifts to share the world. You are not alone. You are not flawed. You are human. And these lessons, these gems that you pick up along the way are forged in the struggle. You still have your story to tell, so never give up. My name is Brian, and my story is my superpower.
Hey everyone, I'm Kathy Gomez, and as Genevieve said, I serve on the ASHA board, and on behalf of my board peers and of course Gayatri, our founder, I am thrilled that you're all connecting here virtually with us tonight. So my job here is to share some 2021 impact results, say a few thank yous, and make some exciting introductions. So I want to start by thanking Brian. What a powerful and beautifully articulated story. I think we're learning during this very difficult time that being vulnerable is being human, and we all need the connections and community to sustain us. We all know we're living through the most deadly pandemic in history. The impact to mental wellness is staggering. I personally don't know anyone in my life that isn't feeling the stress and grief of COVID, and with many in our community struggling with worsened depression and anxiety. Quarantine, remote learning, and lack of normalcy is impacting our youth. According to the CDC, 12 to 17-year-old mental health related trips to the ER grew by over 30% in 2021. Our ASHA community believes deep connections and authentic support can help. So we all know storytelling is the ASHA superpower. From Gayathri's very first story of hope and her commitment and vision to spread hope and healing through storytelling, ASHA International has deployed the power of storytelling for over 12 years. Our 31 storytellers bravely share their experiences with us. So I am going to read through our list of storytellers just to honor them, and I hope at the end we'll give them a Zoom round of applause. Adam Pettit, Audrey Steele, Austin Kastner, Becca Miles, Brian Lee, Cindy Robinson, Dave Mowry, Dr. Diane Kaufman, Emma Wilson, Eric Martz, Aaron San Antonio, Gayathri Ramprasad, Grace Peverly, Hannah Kane, Hoda Abiowicz, Jackson Buell, Jennifer Pepin, Jennifer Yamashiro, John Boylston, Katie Assad, Kelly Wilson, Lily Glass Akoto, Megan Cahy, Dr. Molly McNabb, Molly Vanderwerf, Sarah Steele, Savannah Smith, Vidi Echembadi, and Yamini Rajan. We appreciate all of you, and I hope you know the impact you have on all of us. So among our storytellers, we do also have two starting a new life chapter. Arna Dixit graduated from Sunset High School last year and promises she's going to start an ASHA chapter wherever she goes next. And Natalie Robinson, you may remember from last year's conference as our featured speaker. Natalie just landed at U of O to focus on journalism and media studies. We appreciate you both, Natalie and Arna. Congratulations, and we're excited to see your continued impact on the world around you. So our in-person programming, of course, has been impacted by COVID restrictions, and our team, of course, has pivoted to virtual environments to spread awareness and support. Our Stories of Hope YouTube channel has over 5,700 views, and our 2020 fall annual Women's Grit and Grace Conference drew 340 attendees. That is a 175% increase, from 2019. And we expect another great audience with attendees tuning in from around the country for the upcoming 2021 conference on November 4th. Our virtual Let's Talk Mental Health sessions were impressively effective over Zoom. I'm going to share a few testimonials with you because they are the best way to just share the impact. These are from 2 West Coast webinars. The first one is, quote, "You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. It's helped heal even just now." And the second quote is from an administrator. "This program was much needed by our students. As much as our students are academically focused and highly achieving, they need room to discuss all things that can affect their ability to live fully and sustainably, especially mental health. Today's talk with ASHA gave our students space to breathe and address the importance of their mental health, which is something that is otherwise brushed off all too easily. I think the speakers established a genuine connection with our students and really made them hear the reality of mental health's role in our lives, and more than that, made them understand that it matters, that the students and all their concerns are valid and their seemingly bleak cases are not at all hopeless. True to their name, I think today, ASHA brought hope to our students." We always appreciate these comments, and we, of course, appreciate the impact our storytellers have on all of the students, parents, and administrators that they bring their stories to. So before I transition to our featured speaker, I want to recognize our board members and our ASHA International founder, Gayathri Ramprasad, as well as Ashley Smith, whose official role with our team is grant writer, and actual role also includes keeping us all on task, on time, and extremely well informed, always with kindness and a huge smile. It's really a pleasure to work with all of you, and I'm excited to see you all in person, hopefully very soon. And now I want to introduce our storyteller for this evening, Audrey Steele. Audrey joined ASHA over a year ago and has already impacted over 1,000 students and parents at Let's Talk Mental Health events at schools, and also parent panels. Audrey's a junior at Lincoln High School and has launched a mental health club and led a school-wide mental health conference. I'm privileged to personally know Audrey and her amazingly supportive family, and it's an honor to introduce her to you tonight. Audrey, thanks for inspiring me with your vulnerability and resilience. Your presence makes an impact wherever you are, and it really warms my heart and soul to see you here with us tonight. Thanks for joining us, and we're all here to listen to your powerful story.
I've never felt at home in my body, and I don't know if I ever will. I feel like it's holding me back, keeping me from doing what I want to do. I grew to resent my appearance from that feeling. From a young age, I've been told that most of my value comes from my appearance. It's the first thing people notice. Since I saw my body as disgusting and unappealing, I convinced myself that's all people saw. Moving to a new state made it worse. I wanted a good first impression and to make friends, but how could I do that if all people saw was an eyesore? I noticed I was bigger than all my friends, and I always felt like the odd one out. In 5th grade, a kid called me fat. I made myself think that all my problems were because I wasn't skinny. From that point on, my looks and my body were my biggest concern. I was frustrated and everything felt unfair. I was deemed worthless for some reason I didn't understand. I thought all my problems would be fixed if I looked like the models or fit the beauty standard. Every piece snapped together in 7th grade health. It was during the eating disorder unit. We learned about behaviors and how to help our friends if they are struggling. But right after the eating disorder unit, we were thrown into the obesity unit. The teachers told us horror stories about the dangers of junk food and unhealthy diets. They made us track everything we ate. Food became the enemy to me. Food was the reason I was unworthy. On top of that, I was stressed, my grades were poor, I was struggling with ADD and anxiety, my friends were in a fight, and I just needed a break. Instead of coping in a healthy way or talking to someone, I fell into dangerous behaviors. I ate less and less and exercised every day. My eating disorder consumed my thoughts like a virus. I set weight goals, but every time I reached them, it wasn't enough. I would feel sick and have panic attacks if I didn't listen to my eating disorder. My body started getting sick too. I pushed away at my friends and locked myself in my room. The only thing that mattered was my body and how much I ate. I felt empty and lonely, like nothing else except my appearance mattered. It all happened so fast and I didn't even know what I was doing. I was scared of what might happen next and how much danger I was in. I never told anyone what was going on because I feel bad if I make people worry or help me. I never wanted to reach out, and I definitely did not want to recover. My mom stepped in and took me to a doctor. The doctor said I was in very bad condition and didn't know how much longer my body could keep this up. They knew it was time to send me to a clinic. Going to the clinic was the best thing I could have done. I had multiple types of therapy, including group, where I realized I wasn't alone in what exactly was going on in my brain. And just like any sickness, recovery was long and exhausting, but I got help, and I got the help I needed, and I'm able to keep myself healthy with support from my therapist and friends. Looking back, talking to my mom and doctor was the best thing I could have done. People tell us that we should be ashamed of mental health, and it's something that you keep to yourself. We treat it like it's taboo and shouldn't be talked about. That mental health conditions make you weak and less than. But that stigma keeps so many people who are struggling from getting the help that they need. Talking to others and getting help is a very important step to recovery, and some people may never be able to take that step. I've seen and experienced how scary it is reaching out for help, especially if your brain tells you you don't want it. I was afraid to let my parents down or make them feel like they did something wrong. If we don't talk about our struggles, so many people will be suffering in silence. Mental illness is a constant struggle. Every day it's an uphill battle against myself, but each day gets a little easier, especially with a support system that's there for me when I get tired. Reaching out to my therapist to keep myself healthy or when I just need to vent takes a little weight off my shoulders. I'm not afraid to tell my support system if I need help because I know they care for me and they just want me to be healthy. Some days when I feel like I can't talk to people, I use the coping mechanisms I've learned, like distraction and thought challenging, to keep my head above water. We need to start treating mental health like a health issue and not a shameful thing. Many people who are struggling are not able to receive the same care that I did. So many eating disorders go undiagnosed because they aren't taken seriously or told that they are fake. While I was in the clinic, there's only one boy also receiving help. This isn't because men don't develop eating disorders. It's because we're told eating disorders are only for girls, so men don't get taken seriously. Or on the flip side, we normalize girls eating small portions, so girls go undetected. Or if someone overweight develops an eating disorder, people just think it's a diet and don't provide any help. There's also so many different types of eating disorders that many people don't know about. Opening up a conversation will not only provide help, but also education about how to aid friends and what mental health conditions truly mean. If we take this step, so many people afraid to reach out will be able to get help, or people will be able to aid their smallest struggles before they become overwhelming. The next time you're struggling, reach out, ask for some help. Help aid us in our battle to spread hope and end the stigma around mental health. I was introduced to ASHA International through a family friend. When I learned about what ASHA was doing, I knew I wanted to share my story. I wanted to help others. Sharing my story with peers and with others has been a wonderful experience. I am proud to be helping others by sharing a piece of myself. Organizations like ASHA International are so important to youth like myself. The Let's Talk About Mental Health program helps students learn and talk about mental health and wellness. Together, we are making a difference in our community, one story at a time. If you or someone you know is struggling, I urge you to get help and be a part of that person's support system. When it comes to shattering the stigma around mental health, we need to work together. We need to be kind and check in on the ones we love. If we work together, I know we can break the cycle that takes so many lives. For those of you that have donated already, thank you. And for those of you who are considering donation tonight, I want you to know that your gift makes it possible for people like me to share my story and impact others' lives by giving hope, comfort, and strength. Your gifts make a huge difference in the lives of so many in our community. By making a gift tonight, you're helping end the stigma around mental health and giving hope to people like me and every person who gets to hear an ASHA storyteller like myself. Thank you for listening to my story and supporting ASHA.
Thank you so much to Audrey and to Brian for sharing your stories with everyone. Every single one of us here has a story, and our stories connect and comfort us in our shared struggles. They help us know that we're not alone, and they give us the hope we need to cope, survive, and ultimately thrive. At ASHA International, we truly believe through and through that our stories are our superpowers. Our stories have the power to create social change and to save lives. So thank you again to Audrey and to Brian for sharing your story and for being so vulnerable. Organizations like ASHA International provide hope that those suffering from mental health conditions will find strength and comfort from society rather than fear and isolation. At ASHA International, we are acutely aware of the significant barriers to mental health faced by underserved and underrepresented communities. Now, that includes immigrants, refugees, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and LGBTQ plus communities. We are dedicated to empowering them to share their stories, to inspire hope, and to ignite change. Now, we want to take a moment of giving so that our storytellers can continue that life-saving work that they're doing. And we can continue to do our Let's Talk About Mental Health programs in schools, in workplaces, and in our communities. Your gifts also support our My Story, My Superpower movement and our My Story, My Superpower clubs in high schools. You can find the link to donate in the chat box. I'm going to double check right now that that link has come up, but that link should be there shortly. So you should be able to donate right through that chat box. If you want to donate, you can also just go to myasha.org/give and make a gift. And all the information, it just popped into that chat box right now. You can also call or text Ashley Schmidt at 503-267-0146, or you can email her at ashley@myasha.org. So if you are able to donate, all the information you need to know is in that chat box right now. Of course, you can always go to myasha.org/give to make a gift. And if you would like to make a gift by check, or you would like to make a pledge, please call Ashley. Again, her number is right there in the chat box for you or on the screen, and let us know the donation amount that you are willing to give, and we will follow up with you post-event to complete your donation. I know we have a lot of people watching tonight that give through their employer to ensure that their gift is matched. We are so thankful for all of you. I want you to know that please, you're able to let us know ahead of time how much you are willing to pledge. And again, you can do that by letting Ashley know, or you can do it through the chat box. But let us know so we were able to get an accurate count as to how much money we were able to raise tonight through this incredible event. Nike employees, I know there are many of you on here, please note that Nike will be offering a match, and we encourage you to wait until Giving Tuesday, which is November 30th this year, to make your gift. Our hope, fingers crossed, is that they will offer the 2x match again this year. So if you are a Nike employee, head onto that chat box, or send Ashley a text or give her a call and let us know your donation amount at your pledge. And then we'll follow up closer to Giving Tuesday so you can access the match from Nike on November 30th. So special thanks to all of you who are going through their employers, and special thanks to Nike. Hopefully we are able to get that 2x match. So what I want to do now is go through the different amounts. So what your money is actually doing. So if you are able to give $1,000 tonight, which we have had a few people donate, that will help sponsor the Let's Talk About Mental Health program in 4 high schools. That's truly incredible. I know we've already had some $1,000 donations. So my sincerest thanks to those people. I have sat in on the Let's Talk About Mental Health program in a high school setting. I've watched it, and it is an incredible program. So I hope that you are able to donate, and I can tell you firsthand that that work is really amazing. If you're able to donate $500, well, that will fund one My Story, My Superpower club at a local high school. If you're able to give $250, well, that will cover the storyteller fee for one class. So again, that will allow a storyteller to go in to a high school and share their story, just like Audrey and Brian did tonight. $100 donation will help fund the training of a new storyteller. Audrey and Brian can attest to this. I mean, they're incredible public speakers, and the work it takes to share that story is not insignificant. So $100 will help train those storytellers so that their words and their stories can truly make a difference inside schools and communities. A $50 donation will help us set up a storyteller profile online. And a $25 gift will help fund the videotaping of one storyteller so we can share their stories through events like this. So I hope that gives you an idea as to exactly what your money is going towards, but we welcome donations of any amount, and we appreciate every single gift. It is important to note that at a time in history when many nonprofits are struggling to maintain their funding, we are incredibly grateful for the generous support of our donors and our sponsors. They truly see the need for programs that OSHA International supports, and they help us get those programs into schools and into our community to help shatter the stigma around mental health. And our programs, I should note, through your donations, our programs are free. So your money is going towards such an incredible cause, and we urge you to donate any amount you are able to. Even $5 makes a difference. We do want to let you know, in the age of this pandemic and through this Zoom world that we're all living in, that our programs have been adapted for virtual outreach to give hope and to help people during these difficult times. Our goal tonight, as I said at the beginning, is to raise $40,000 to support our youth mental health programs. I want to let you know that we have now surpassed the $35,000 mark, which is incredible to read that. So thank you so much to everyone who has spent the time to donate already tonight. We are less than $5,000 away from our goal. We are so incredibly close. And with all of your help tonight, with your donations, I think we're going to be able to meet that goal, and we can expand our outreach to even more schools and educate and empower even more students in the 2021-2022 school year. Now, like I mentioned, we have already received several generous donations, and among them, we would like to thank a few of the people who have come in. So you can actually see some people who have donated online right now, but let's go through and call out some of the people who have been so generous tonight. So we've got John Boylston, a board member, who donated $1,000. Again, that money will help fund the program for high schools. So that is an incredible donation. Thank you so much, John. Mark Barnett donated $100. Rosalind Volkman, who's my sister, donated $500 from down in the Bay Area. So thank you so much to her. We also have donations from Molly Terrell and Diane Kaufman, who is also a board member, and Dave Schechter donated $500. So again, that $500 donation from Dave is going to help fund a My Story, My Superpower club at a local high school. And if you don't know Dave Schechter, you should definitely look him up. He's also doing incredible work in the mental health space in the Portland area, specifically at the Rosemary Anderson High Schools. Special thank you to Warren Lockwood for donating $100, Kathy Van Riesen for donating $2,000, also a board member. Her note here says, "It is a great honor and privilege to be associated with this wonderful organization. It's my pleasure to donate and to serve on the board." So thank you so much to Kathy for that very generous donation. I do want to take some time and read some of the testimonials from people who have actually experienced some of our programs. I really think this is the most impactful thing. So I'm going to pull up some of those testimonials for you, so you are able to hear directly from the people who've heard these stories, who've been a part of these high schools and had these programs inside. So we have One comment here from a Let's Talk virtual student mental health conference. And it says, this was a great destigmatizing conference. Loved it for this reason. I will be sharing with family and friends. Another comment says, the Let's Talk About Mental Health was enjoyable and informative. It truly opened a conversation on mental health well-being. There was a lot of wisdom and caring that was shared. Thank you. So again, these mental health conferences and the work that our storytellers are doing in high schools is they're coming into high schools, they're coming into communities, and they're openly sharing their stories, just like Brian and Audrey did tonight. And what that does is it opens a door for people, for kids specifically, to talk about what they're going through. It gives them somewhat of permission, if they didn't feel like they already had that, to say, it's okay for me to share that I'm struggling right now. And so these testimonials are from some of the people who've experienced those programs. We have another one from our Let's Talk About Mental Health program all the way down in San Diego. It says, this webinar, Let's Talk About Mental Health program, was great to attend, especially for high school student and college students who deal with a lot of stress and anxiety. It was a refresher to see how mental health was being openly discussed and emphasized. Another comment here from the Let's Talk About Mental Health program at California State University in Fullerton says, the Let's Talk About Mental Health program helped me realize that everyone is going through something mentally that we don't know about. I was able to understand the importance of getting help via therapy in order to feel better and take care of myself. I learned that culture also plays a role in the likelihood of attending therapy and accepting a diagnosis. So I know many people who resonated with Brian's story probably also resonate with that comment from Cal State University Fullerton. So thank you to everyone who submitted these testimonials, and I hope it gives you a better idea as to what your money is going through. We really want to thank all of you for your generosity. You can continue to give throughout the rest of the event and after, but right now we would like to take the time to celebrate those who are receiving awards tonight. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we have 3 awards tonight. So the first one, the one that we're going to start out with tonight, is the 2021 Hope Bringer Award. Now, each year we honor an individual for their exceptional courage and resilience in overcoming a mental health condition and inspiring others with hope on their journey to well-being. This year, we are delighted to honor Natalie Robinson with the 2021 Hope Bringer Award. Natalie is an incredible young woman. She is an ASHA storyteller, and her story has inspired hundreds of students, staff, and families across Oregon and truly around the country. She was a part of the Well-Being's award-winning PBS story, Battling Suicide Through Storytelling, which shined a light on youth mental health. This fall, Natalie will be a freshman at the University of Oregon. She'll be majoring in journalism, as you heard, specifically in media studies, and possibly minoring in English or film. She has various end goals in mind, but documentary filmmaking is one of her top choices at the moment. As a fellow journalist, I encourage you on that path, Natalie. In college, Natalie is looking forward to taking different types of classes, making new friends, and possibly studying abroad. She also wants to continue advocating for mental health at the University of Oregon and beyond. Natalie says, quote, being an ASHA storyteller has made it easier for me to talk about my mental health struggles and taught me that personal stories have the power to help get rid of the stigma around mental health conditions. I hope I have inspired other teens to ask for help and made them feel less alone.
I am truly honored to be this year's recipient of the Hope Bringer Award and to be among the incredible people who have received this award before me. I want to thank ASHA, and in particular, Gayatri, for giving me this opportunity to work with such an amazing organization. What they have taught me is the strength that comes from shining a light on mental illness rather than hiding in the shadows, and my life has been changed in the best way possible because of it. I'm making this speech from my dorm room at the University of Oregon, even though the idea of going to college and leaving the safety of my house and family once seemed impossible to me. It's been a blessing to share my story with so many different people, but especially with the students and faculty I've had the opportunity to speak to. I remember being so apprehensive about talking to people my age because I was afraid of being judged, but I've learned that I'm not alone in my struggles. I want to live in a world where mental health is talked about differently. I'm thankful that I found a group of people who are dedicated to making that happen, and I'm excited to continue working with them in the future. My time with ASHA and the help of my loved ones and healthcare professionals has instilled a sense of hope into me that inspires me to keep going, even when things are tough. I hope that telling my story will encourage even just one person to hold on and to keep believing in themselves. Thank you, and I wish you all the best on your journeys.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I am so sorry that I didn't give you that moment to say your thanks. So we appreciate you so much. So now let's officially transition to the 2021 Mental Health Hero Award. So every child needs a hero, and each year we honor educators and counselors who have been a hero in championing the mental health and well-being needs of their students. This year, we are delighted to honor Danielle Hudson with the 2021 Mental Health Hero Award. I had the honor of interviewing Danielle just a few weeks ago, and when I heard that she was the winner of this award, I was absolutely thrilled. I know she's doing incredible work. Danielle is the executive administrator for student services for the Beaverton School District. It is her responsibility to ensure the vitality of the district's academic program, that it is accessible for all students, including multilingual students and students experiencing academic, physical, behavioral, and/or mental disabilities. In this role, she oversees the district's behavioral health and wellness program, which includes counseling, social work, social emotional learning, Section 504, and health services. During her tenure, BSD has implemented behavioral health and wellness teams in every school, developed a social work program that included the hiring of over 40 social workers, the hiring of more counselors, nurses, health assistants, and social emotional learning coaches. Additionally, for the first time ever, the Beaverton School District is engaging in the curriculum adoption process for behavioral health and wellness assessment curriculum and instruction. So now let's hear from Danielle.
Good evening, everyone. I am extremely excited and honored to be here this evening as ASHA International's 2021 Mental Health Hero Award winner. When I found out that I had been nominated and then won this award, I was surprised. I have had such a wonderful experience working with ASHA, but most importantly, continuing to bring forward the need for mental health supports for students, families, adults, everyone in our community. The Beaverton School District has had this opportunity to work with ASHA and bring representatives from the organization into our schools, and it has made a tremendous difference for both our students and our staff. I also need to thank my school district, the Beaverton School District, for being so supportive of my work and my efforts to continue to pursue increased behavioral health and wellness supports within our district. I would also like to thank my wonderful wife, Ashley Hudson, and my son, Hudson Sheldrake, for all the support they have given me. They are my heroes. With that, again, I'd like to thank ASHA International for awarding me the honor of the 2021 Mental Health Hero Award. Thank you.
Congrats, Danielle. I know you are so worthy of that award. Okay, so we have one more award left tonight, and this award is the 2021 Champions of Change Award. Now, every cause needs a champion, and at ASHA International, we understand the barriers to mental health faced by underserved and underrepresented communities, immigrants, refugees, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and the LGBTQ+ communities. And we are dedicated to empowering organizations to serve these communities. This year, we are delighted to honor Project Lotus for championing mental health within Asian American communities. Through education and empowerment, Project Lotus addresses mental health stigma, shame, and overall perception and care of mental health. To learn more about their programs and advocacy, you can go to www.theprojectlotus.org. Together, we are normalizing conversations about mental health and inspiring hope and well-being one story at a time. ASHA, together, we are changing the culture surrounding mental health and building communities of empathy, support, and inclusion where all of us can thrive. ASHA International is delighted to honor Project Lotus with our 2021 Champions of Change Award.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much to ASHA International for honoring Project Lotus with this award. Especially as a youth-led organization, this really, really means a lot to us and aligns, I think, frankly, with our mission and what we're seeking to do. I think these last 2 years have really showed the importance of supporting our underrepresented and underserved communities. I think especially in the Asian American community, we've obviously seen a spike in xenophobia, racism, and its implications on our mental health. But despite these challenges, I think we've also seen great growth and change within our community. Representation is increasing, understanding and support of mental health is becoming more and more commonplace, And of course, while there's still work to do and change to be made, Project Lotus is just happy to be a player in this growing movement. And we're hoping to continue to serve the community and do the things we do. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much again.
Thank you so much to you, Daniel. Project Lotus is so incredibly deserving of that award. I want to let you know that I just got word that we are at $38,000 in gifts and pledges. We are so close to our $40,000 goal. Every gift at every level will help us reach our goal. So I want to extend our sincerest thanks to our community. I believe and I hope that we can close that $2,000 gap and we can reach that $40,000 goal, hopefully by the end of this program. I want to take a little bit more time to read some of the comments from people who have worked directly with ASHA International, those testimonials. And I'm going to take some from 2020, and these are from the Portland metro area. So people are right here around our community. And this first testimonial says, "This was such a powerful experience. It was a gift to witness the courage and vulnerability of the storytellers. It grew my ability as an educator to better support my students. Thank you." Another testimonial says, "It was inspiring to hear the personal stories and made me reflect on how some students must be feeling." Another says, "Hearing stories directly from students in our district was very powerful, insightful, and inspiring." So you can see that these programs not only impact the students, but also the staff, the teachers in these schools, because they're also sitting in on these programs and they are seeing what a story can do. They are seeing what we believe that our stories are our superpowers play out right in front of them. And your money helps us bring these programs to more schools. I know we have huge dreams and goals at ASHA International, and we truly want to get these programs into more schools. And so your donations can help us do that. It can help us reach thousands more students. So we sincerely appreciate you again for all the donations and all the pledges made thus far. I do want to take a minute now as we wrap things up here. We're closing in on about 7:50 tonight, that we have another incredible event coming up, the Grit and Grace Multicultural Women's Mental Health Conference. It is on Thursday, November 4th, and it is from 9 to 12:30. The event is again free this year, and you can register online. Just go to myasha.org. And we are hosting it virtually again this year, again, to keep all of you safe and healthy. We are so excited because I was just looking at it. We have an incredible lineup of local and national speakers covering topics like mental health in the workplace, healing plans all around us, and art and the healing power of sport. I hope you will join us on November 4th for this free virtual conference. I want to thank you all so much for being here tonight and for your generous support. Together, by normalizing conversations around mental health, we can give hope, change lives one story at a time. I want to let you know that you can still give online even after this event has concluded. Just go to myasha.org/give, or again, write down Ashley's number, 503-267-0146. You can call and text her with your pledge amount, or if you were going to send in the check at a later time. I truly hope that all of you are staying safe, you are staying healthy, and that you have been moved by tonight's program. I can tell you on behalf of the entire board that we truly believe what we are doing is life-saving work. And we are so thankful that so many of you in the community see that too. So thank you for your support. I hope you have a wonderful night. Good night.